again.
Back again. And this time, I have a question for you. And I haven't given her any warning. So, what I want to know, and a couple people have asked me, so I want to ask you, where do you see us as your parents or your family enabling you? In the past, like before drug court, or even right now in drug court, where did we enable you? Because I have in my mind what maybe ways I think maybe we did, or I think we didn't, and yet you may know something that was enabling to you that we didn't even realize we were. So that's what I really wanted to hear from you.
The first thing really that comes to mind is a really big way that you didn't enable me. And that is y'all never financed me. You never gave me money. You never paid my rent. I think I got gas money from Dad one time, pretty close right before I got arrested for drug court. And then I think I asked one more time. He gave me like $10 or $20. And then I think I asked one more time, and that was refused because we're not sure where the money's going.
Mm-hmm.
But
actually.
so I think that's literally the only time I can remember ever getting any kind of money from you guys. So I think that was really important.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine the types of rock bottoms I would hit if y'all were like really enabling me financially. If I was using with a budget from mommy and daddy, like, oh my God. Or y'all were paying my rent, so I didn't have to put any money towards that, so I could work, so that's the first thing that comes to mind, really, is that y'all did not support me or enable me financially, and I really appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate the fact, other than, 2 times I remember for gas, you never asked us to.
Yeah, that was also, a stubborn pride thing, because I moved out of home pretty early. But I was I refused to ask for help. And in a way, it really fucked me over. But that also set me up to hit rock bottom a little sooner, hopefully. So I think it was definitely a good thing in the long run, definitely.
So do you know of a way we did enable you? I have my opinion on that. I think if there's any way that we enabled you, it was literally lack of knowledge. It was ignorance. My ignorance or my naivety that enabled you to do things or get away. I didn't know weed when it was smoked in my kitchen.
Dude.
There's things like that I didn't know. Or if you said you were doing such and such, I believed you because it's not in my nature. Right. At least it wasn't before this. To be suspicious or to doubt. Right. But what do you think?
Well, what you were just saying is the believing me thing. I think I almost bullied might be the word y'all into that, because early on into my using, y'all were really on top of it. I was still really young, and y'all were still very much parenting me. I wasn't allowed to go to parties and stuff, or one time I did go. Dad was send me the address right now, or da-da-da-da type thing. And I think I just kicked back on that so hard that it was I don't know, I feel I was such an asshole about y'all being my parents when I was 16 that it kind of progressed from there. Especially once I moved out, it was I refused help, so also I refused to let you be in my life in that kind of way. Right. So I had started putting up walls in that area for a long time. So even if you would have pressed me, I probably would have just bucked back and been an asshole. So
yeah. So no specific thing you can think of?
The only thing I could think of is that I knew I hated it. I hated doing this, but I knew I had the backup. If I had nowhere to go, nowhere to sleep at night, I could go sleep at home. And that was still home no matter how long I had been gone, and all of this. And on one hand, that's a really great parenting thing to do, position to put your kid in. Hey, if anything crazy happens in your life and you don't have a place to sleep, come sleep at our house where you grew up. But
it enabled you to go off and do your thing, and then when you
with no regard for, I might end up with nowhere to sleep.
Yeah.
After having nowhere to sleep for the last 3 weeks, but I've been figuring it out. And then one night, oh shit, I'll go home for 2 days, and then I'm sick. So I have to go into town and get well. So, yeah. So I think after the situation out of town, when I moved back, I think that's a little different because that put me in a crazy situation. And I think that's the traditional situation where that was appropriate.
Right.
But after that, when I was
you were living at our house,
technically I'm living at your house, or I'd be gone for 2 weeks. Yes. And you'd text me and be like, hey, it's been a couple weeks. Are you coming home? And then I'd sleep at the house for 2 nights, and then I'd be gone for a week or 4 days, and then I'd come back for a night, and then be gone for 2 weeks. So
Yeah.
I think that was like the main time when I like really took advantage, like abused that. Mm-hmm. But then again, like
So that
if y'all hadn't done that, there would have been nights where there were nights where I came home because I left a really dangerous situation and I didn't want to sleep there again. So I would have either still been there or I would have been sleeping outside, especially once I totaled my truck. So it's kind of a double-edged sword of like, where do you stop enabling your loved one versus like avoiding putting them in literal danger?
Right.
You know?
I know. Well, a couple of people had asked me about that and said they struggle with enabling, and I haven't felt like I struggled with enabling, and part of that goes along with boundaries, which we should talk about sometime,
Right.
not tonight, but I thought just wanted to ask you to get your input because I've never ever asked you that.
My number one thing on enabling: do not fucking finance your kid, any fucking buddy, especially if they're an addict. Mm-hmm. Really, that's kids across the board. Into adulthood, don't financially support them. That's my parenting advice.
Because that's enabling.
But yeah, that's enabling whether it's an addict or not. But especially as an addict, I feel like my rock bottoms were terrible, but they could have been much worse if I was financially supported, because I could have gone on longer and harder,
further,
and then that leads to a bigger drop. So,
well, thank you for being honest about that. I know I kind of threw it on you.
Yeah.
Threw it at you right here. On
if
the
I
spot.
think of anything else, we will, if we get any more thoughts, we can do a little follow-up video on this, but that's all we got for now.
Okay.
Thanks for
guys.
watching us. See you next time.